Hello and welcome to the Security Plus Review Questions video series. The goal of this series is to help anyone preparing for the Security Plus certification exams increase their knowledge and confidence so you can pass the exam on your very first try. I am Seolito Rodriguez. Question 31. A company is broadening its attack surface management efforts by inviting external individuals to test the security of its public-facing applications. Participants will receive compensation for reporting any discovered vulnerabilities. Which of the following best describes the type of program the company is implementing? A. Open source intelligence. B. Bug bounty. C. Red team. Or D. Penetration testing. The correct answer is B. Bug bounty. A bug bounty program allows security researchers and ethical hackers to test a company's internet-facing applications for vulnerabilities. The company offers compensation, that is, monetary rewards or other incentives based on the severity and impact of the vulnerabilities discovered. One of the most popular bug bounty company is HackerOne. HackerOne is a leading cybersecurity platform that connects organizations with ethical hackers to identify and fix security vulnerabilities. It enables companies to run bug bounty and vulnerability disclosure programs, or VDPs, allowing vetted researchers to test applications and systems for weaknesses. Organizations can choose between public or private programs and reward researchers for valid findings. HackerOne also supports structured hacker power penetration testing, providing an alternative to traditional security assessments. It includes features like secure vulnerability reporting, workflow integrations, and detailed analytics dashboards. It is used by major companies and government agencies. HackerOne enhances security by leveraging the skills of a global community of ethical hackers while helping organizations maintain compliance and reduce cyber risk. Question 32. Which of the following threat actors is the most likely to use large financial resources to attack critical systems located in other countries? We've seen this question before. This is an easy one, so no need to waste any time. The answer here is C, nation state. Question 33. Which of the following enables the use of an input field to run commands that can view or manipulate data? A, cross-site scripting. B, site loading. C, buffer overflow. Or D, SQL injection. The correct answer is D, SQL injection. And again, if you have been following these questions, we have already talked about this. So make sure that you understand all this type of attacks, but I'm not going to waste any time on questions that we have seen before. Here is an example of what SQL injection attack would look like. Question 34. Employees in the research and development business unit receive extensive training to ensure they understand how to best protect company data. Which of the following is the best type of data that these employees are most likely to use in day-to-day work activities? A, encrypted. B, intellectual property. C, critical. Or D, data in transit. The correct answer here is B, intellectual property. Employees in the research and development or R&D business unit work on innovative projects, proprietary designs, trade secrets, patents, and other sensitive information that provide a competitive advantage. This type of data is categorized as intellectual property or IP and must be carefully protected against theft, leaks, and cyber attacks. Question 35. A company has begun labeling all laptops with asset inventory stickers and associating them with employee IDs. Which of the following security benefits do these actions provide? Choose two. A. If a security incident occurs on the device, the correct employee can be notified. B, the security team will be able to send user awareness training to the appropriate device. C, users can be mapped to their devices when configuring software MFA tokens. D, user-based firewall policies can be correctly targeted to the appropriate laptops. E, when conducting penetration testing, the security team will be able to target the desired laptops. Or F, company data can be accounted for when the employee leaves the organization. This is one of those questions where multiple answers sounds correct and could be correct, but again, you have to choose the best choices. And the best choices here are A, if a security incident occurs on the device, the correct employee can be notified. And C, users can be mapped to their device when configuring software MFA tokens, especially when we're talking about those companies that use physical MFA tokens, right? So you could map that to those laptops. Again, there may be people who disagree with these answers because some of these answers are very similar, but those are the two best answers here. And here is some of the reasoning why those choices are the best answer. Make sure that you understand the question. You may agree or may disagree with these answers. In any case, so if something like that comes in the exam, just make sure that you are prepared to choose whatever you think it's the best. Question 36. A technician wants to improve the situational and environmental awareness of existing users as they transition from remote to in-office work. Which of the following is the best option? A, send out periodic security reminders. B, update the content of new hire documentation. C, modify the content of recurring training. Or D, implement a phishing campaign. The best answer here is C, modify the content of recurring training. Modifying the content of recurring training is the best option because it allows the technician to address the specific needs of employees as they transition from remote to in-office work by including updated security topics such as in-office security protocols, physical security, and the new risk associated with a hybrid work environment. Employees can improve their situational and environmental awareness. Question 37. A newly appointed board member with cybersecurity knowledge wants to board or wants rather the board of directors to receive a quarterly report detailing the number of incidents that impacted the organization. The systems administrator is creating a way to present the data to the board of directors. Which of the following should the systems administrator use? A, packet captures. B, vulnerability scans. C, metadata. Or D, dashboard. And the answer is D, a dashboard. A dashboard, it's an ideal tool to present data on security incidents to the board of directors. It provides a visual representation of key metrics such as the number of incidents, their severity, and trends over time. Dashboards allow for quick and easy understanding of the security posture, especially for stakeholders who may not have technical expertise. So here is the Microsoft Defender dashboard. I am on the home screen, and here is a summary of very important metrics. Here you can see the malware that has been remediated, the number of users that are at risk, for example. Um, we can look at the devices that are at risk, and then we can see the score of the per identity, per data, per devices, etc. Number of percentage of devices that are non-compliant, the numbers of devices that are discovered in the last 7 days, the active devices, the threats, etc. So this is a great way to present information to management. Question 38. A systems administrator receives the following alert from a file integrity monitoring tool. The hash of the cmd.exe file has changed. The systems administrator checks the OS logs. It notices that no patches were applied in the last 2 months. Which of the following most likely occurred? A. The end user changed the file permissions. B. A cryptographic collision was detected. C. A snapshot of the file system was taken. Or D. A rootkit was deployed. The correct answer here is D. A rootkit was deployed. A rootkit is a type of malware designed to gain unauthorized access to a system while hiding its presence. In this case, the hash of the cmd.exe file has changed, which suggests that the file might have been modified by malware such as a rootkit to gain elevated privileges or maintain persistence on the system. Rootkits often alter systems like cmd.exe to hide their activity, and they may also manipulate the file hash to avoid detection by integrity monitoring tools. One example of a file integrity monitoring tool, it's Microsoft Defender for Server. So if you use Microsoft Defender, it's a suite of cybersecurity products per Microsoft. So I like to call the Microsoft Defender suite. And within the obviously the most popular product is MDE, or Microsoft Defender for Endpoint, which is basically for the end user devices, Windows 10, Windows 11. But if you want complete protection in a hybrid environment and to protect your servers completely and the domain controllers, then you may also want to use Microsoft Defender for Server. Microsoft Defender for Server has a feature called File Integrity Monitoring, which you can enable. And exactly this is what it does. Among other things, it helps protect identity-based attacks in domain controllers like lateral movement and pass the hash and other sophisticated attacks. So again, Microsoft Defender for Server is part of the Microsoft Defender suite family of products that could help protect against these sophisticated attacks. Question 39. Which of the following roles, according to the share responsibility model, is responsible for securing the company's database in infrastructure as a service model for a cloud environment? A client, B, third-party vendor, C, the cloud provider, or D, DBA? The correct answer here is A, the client. In infrastructure as a service model, the cloud provider is responsible for the underlying infrastructure, such as physical servers, the storage, networking, etc. But the client, that means the organization that is using those cloud services, is responsible for securing the operating systems, the applications, and the data that run on top of the infrastructure, including the database. So in this context, the client must ensure that the database is securely configured, that the data is encrypted, and that access controls are in place, and patching is done regularly. So in the share responsibility model, and this is whether you're using Microsoft or AWS or Google, it all depends on what model you're using. The three main models are infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service, right? So here we have a company that is on premises or a private cloud. In other words, if you're not using any service, if you're hosting everything privately, then you are responsible for everything, right? So the company is responsible for data and access, applications, the runtime environment, operating systems, virtual machines, compute networking, etc. You're responsible for everything. When you go to the cloud, you, in a sense, are transferring responsibility of some of the stuff. So if you use infrastructure as a service, you're basically using just the compute, the networking, and the storage from the cloud provider, but you are still responsible for all of this. Now, if you're using platform as a service, then you transfer more responsibility to the cloud environment. You are only responsible for data and access and applications, and then the cloud is responsible for the rest. And then finally, if you use software as a service, let's say Office 365 Exchange Online, for example. If you use Microsoft Exchange Online, Microsoft is responsible for everything, the application, in this case, Exchange, right? The runtime environment, the operating system, virtual machine, compute, everything. The only thing that you are responsible for is data and access, the identity, the configuration of the email system, making sure that you have uh, policies for save links and save attachments and that kind of stuff. So you're still responsible for the identity. If somebody obviously gets a username and password, if you're not using MFA and somebody logs into your email account and it's still data, you're responsible for that. So that's why you need to have a strong identity management like using MFA. But anyway, so this is what the share responsibility model looks like when you go to the cloud. Make sure that you understand this very well because again, the share responsibility model depending on what is it that you're using. That means that you're using the cloud, but how are you using the cloud? Are you using software as a service? Are you using platform as a service or are you using infrastructure as a service? Depending on the model that you use, obviously that share responsibility will change. Question 40. A client asks a security company to provide a document outlining the project, the cost, and the completion time frame. Which of the following documents should the company provide to the client? A, MSA, B, SLA, C, BPA, or D, uh, uh, SOW? The correct answer here is the SO, or the statement of work, SOW. A statement of work is a formal document that outlines the details of a project, including its scope, deliverables, cost, and timeline. It defines the specific work to be performed, setting clear expectations, to both the client and the service provider, and is often used in project management to ensure all parties are aligned. Other important elements, the items that you need to understand for the Security Plus exams here are A, the MSA, which is a Master Service Agreement, B, SLA, or the Service Level Agreement, or C, BPA, the Business Partnership Agreement. So in one form or another, some of these or all of these will be in the security exam. So make sure that you understand each of these documents. All right, this is the end of this session, and I want to ask a big favor of you. It takes a lot of time and preparation to create these sessions, so I would appreciate immensely if you were to like and especially to subscribe to my channel. I am producing this for free for you, but the idea is that I can generate enough viewers in the future so that this can pay by itself. So please subscribe to my channel, and also at the same time when I add content, which I will add regularly, you do not miss on the new content. Thank you.